to, whenever I clap my hands and make a sound, you're just going to react to your body just for that one split second. So it's that one split second, nothing longer.
So freeze? Or?
It doesn't matter actually. You could freeze or you could do the movement and then relax again. Either way, try both. But the idea is just to pop that sound. So just spread out, face any direction. Okay, you can even close your eyes if you want to, so you can't anticipate what you're doing. Okay, relax. Breathe. That was fun. This is too fun to watch. I love the way that there's so much suspense in that. So, what I like to do now is something that is a little more kind of, I guess, organized, kind of systematic or whatever, is going across the room. So starting in this corner and one person at a time, making your way down, and using percussive movement in that same way. This time I'm going to use music. Don't feel like you have to hit every beat of the music, but now you've got the idea in your body of that one split second of motion. Pick out which beats in the music you want to use. So you can generate your own body rhythm. So the music gets more and more complex as it goes, so you can pick out whichever parts you want to, but just that idea of one little split second thing happening in the body. So let's dive. Okay, we're ready to go. another pass. This time, something that I was noticing is that it's actually very hard to make something really percussive without letting it stretch out. So there's a lot of initial percussive initiation of the movement, like a hit to start it, but then it continues, right? So really try and keep because what we're really going for is absolutely the purest idea of this quality, is, really just to keep the integrity of that absolute percussive moment, like it doesn't go beyond that into anything else. So there's a lot of control in doing that. So there was some really, really cool and interesting stuff happening. And I think the more that you actually have to stay within the confines, the more interesting movement will get, because you'll be more restricted in what can happen. So even thinking about, like jerks of the head or blinks, like Charles is doing lots of blinking, that you can do, the smaller movement you can do faster. So finding all these like small little things in your body, but then taking the risk and maybe can I do something bigger still that speed. So really just exploring with keeping the absolute purity of the percussive moment. reverse direction whenever you want to. much until it crosses into something more progressive, just keeping the sustained line. And then also think about as you are coming across another body in space, how their motion is going to affect your motion. Almost like little eddies in the water. That you're caught up in another person's field of motion. So that everything continues smooth, sustained, continuous. Find more natural pedestrian level in the body. So we'll start off. And what I'd like to do initially is just go down the room with a call and a response, only movement based. So the person on this side is going to do a call to the partner, a phrase of movement, and the partner is going to respond in movement. So it can be whatever answer, whatever response you want to give. And then the next will be this side always that initiates the call, and this side that does the response.
And are we doing it
just
all at once, or
no, we're
down start?
gonna go down. So.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure you guys are
so let's go down this side and we're going to initiate. So we're
Oh, okay, yeah.
Nice. Okay, these are cool. Good.
In sound or
Sound. It's sound.
In sound.
Yeah. Okay, so this side's initiated. No. Cool. All right, so this time, this side's initiating in movement, and this side is responding in sound.
I couldn't just keep it sound, I had to.
I know, it's fine, yeah. But it doesn't, yeah, at the moment, it doesn't really matter, but we're trying to just keep the ideas really straight, but then they'll get all together. So let's do the other way around. I mean, no, the same, let's do the same way. So
Movement.
So movement, sound response. We have- Cool.
Ah. Oh.
So for the partnered call and response, I liked that there were endless options. I think that as a dancer, that's always something. I remember I had a teacher in college who said, try to do a movement that you've never ever done before. And we were like, it's really hard. Because we all as dancers get comfortable with a particular style, but adding this sound in, I think added a nice element because there are endless sounds that we can make. Not endless. A lot of sounds that we can make. And with the sound, I know we were trying to separate out the movement from the sound, but it did,
really
even with our faces
generate.
and, you know, animating that did help generate different kinds of movement. And also doing it with a partner, I thought helped that as well. And I did find it difficult to separate the sound from the movement sometimes, so that was an interesting challenge. What else did I put in here? I was thinking it would be interesting to do the sound one with our eyes closed.
That's cool.
And then I think Sarah did it, and I don't know if other people did, but I almost asked you, and then I feel like you clarified that it was sound with the mouth, but you didn't actually say that. I know you clapped, and I was like, well, should we do like sounds without our mouth? So that would be fun to play around with too. Or
then that involves movement too.
Right.
So,
and if it was something where like, if you ever wanted to turn it into a game, like we had a set number of sounds and movements that we repeated, and we learned them, and then we did it with our eyes closed, and we had to figure out what the movement was, the sound they were making or something. I think there's a lot of fun ways that we can play with that. For the percussive movement quality, the second pass around, I felt like it was hard to travel. I was like, no, I can't. How am I going to get across the floor? But doing it with Jamie was really fun because I think once you have a partner involved in it, it does make it more playful. And but I did find it really challenging. And then towards the end, I was like, I just feel like a doll. I shouldn't feel like a doll. I not feel like a doll. So I kind of got stuck in this like feeling of that. I'm like, okay, well, I want to be able to do it and not feel like I'm playing a certain role. So that one's definitely
So
more
yeah, maybe
challenging
we
for my
can
movement
think of
quality.
ways of inspiring different types of movement through the body somehow.
Maybe if you like transplant that, like this way, the way you isolated the vibrating. So like breaking that down into certain prompts of
Body
like
parts.
different body parts, upper body only,
Yeah.
or using the arms only, or
Right.
you know, just
To
and
break
then opening
down.
it up to
Yeah.
see if that makes a difference.
And then for the sustained movement, I really enjoyed that. I mean, I've liked all of the stuff. I really enjoyed that one too. Especially when you were talking about, you know, carrying out the movement until, you know, really stretching it out before you move on to the next one. So I kind of played around with that a little bit. And there were some really fun interactions that happened with a few of us. Like I was looking up at Giles and I just saw Mary's hand go like over me and I was like, wow, that was really cool. So there are some really cool things that happened in that. And I really enjoyed feeling like I was in a huge vat of honey. That was really fun. That's all I have.
Oh, thank you.
Are you going here? So
Let's-
maybe pass.
Yeah, let's go around. I wish that.
So for call and response, I wrote paying attention to the essence and relaxing. Explosive, which actually means percussive. Stillness creates the opportunity. And for sustain, I wrote isolation enhances the clarity.
Ah, yeah. Okay. So what was it that you said first about the call and response?
Pay attention to the essence.
Yeah, the essence of what they're doing. So
They're
that
like,
you can,
okay, like,
so you can respond
this,
to it.
like, never gonna help you. It's like get some sort of essence from it, and then
Yeah, because then you're really seeing what you're responding to. You know, you're getting
and relaxing, so you don't worry about.
yeah.
As far as the call and response goes, I just kind of gave words. So like give, take, receive, share, listen, learn, love, dislike, play versus fight, animated versus blank. And then for the sustained movement, I kind of just have like a cloud blowing whoosh and some fog. But
This is cool. Let me see. I love this. That's awesome.
And within the sustained movement, I was thinking about it because you can have different tempos and still it be sustained.
Exactly, yeah.
And I felt like as a group, we just kind of picked that, like tempo and just kind of was very, I don't want to say monotone with it, but in a way it was very just mellow. Whereas we could play around more with having sustained, even with quick
Yeah,
things.
keeping it more fluid and flowing.
Yeah.
Sustain has different qualities anyway.
Yeah.
And then as far as like our sharpen everything, I just kind of have like the lightning cloud with words like bang, ting, bong, hit, staccato, sharp, sting, snap. But again, even within that, like, how do you have staccato movement that isn't always just sharp and jolty? Which I know that was kind of what you were going through, but that was just kind of how my brain was trying to figure out where could this go. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they can be relaxed movement.
Right.
It's still
Instead of like
yeah.
robotic,
That's
like
almost like you've been electrocuted or something.
right, because that's like
yeah.
kind of the way I felt like we were all just kind of taking it to that electric jolt
Right.
instead of
Yeah.
maybe what else.
Yeah, that's a good point, and all of these things are things that I have to think about how to bring that out.
Right.
So, yeah, all those possibilities out. Oh, thank you.
Hey, just for percussive for me, I just noticed the way I responded to it felt very isolated in my choices, and so I began to wonder how to find more of a plurality of simultaneous percussive movements and parts moving, overlapping at the same time. And I think I became very aware of dominant tendencies for myself.
Those are always the ones that arise.
Where initiations come from for me. And then I was just also thinking about how can percussive movement in the right body part kind of propel rather than move and stop in such a short distance. So how it could take you through space. Sustained, I liked the music. I felt like it was very supportive once I was moving. And then for that I really enjoyed playing with tempo. Call and response, I thought it was fun and silly and feeling. So.
Cool. Thank you.
I have like 8 minutes.
Okay.
Talk fast.
I started at the very beginning with the warm-up of loosening and energizing at the same time. It felt like the entire afternoon, like I was moving through water. Even the percussive exercise for me, I felt very, what is it that you feel in water, buoyant? I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
The sustained exercise was just so luscious for me. But a lot of that, I think, I'm coming back to this again, I spent most of my summer not moving. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm moving. So I love playing with drawing out a gesture until there's just drawing it out until the body naturally shifts. Just really not even telling the body what to do, just feeling what it wants to do. Reminded me of colors. Colors. And for me, it was really hard in the call and response not to do both the sound and the movement at the same time together. That was just so hard for me once I got into it, because it was like because in the being present and responding honestly to my partner, I had the hardest time shutting one part off, and then. But that's what I just loved about it, was listening to each other. I love the idea of the conversation that doesn't involve words. That listening and the emotion that can come out of it. And I work with students on that a lot, like in acting, because you have a text usually.
Right.
But just throw that text away. And just, what else is there when you throw away the text? What else? And so that's cool. And then I had the thought that it would be so neat to do that call and response, but not make it just like one partner to one partner. Just have it be random in the room. Like just have the whole group be in the room and call and respond just
To anybody.
And anything. And what would that be like?
Because there's a lot there in that exercise. There's a lot of potential. I know that there is. So this is really going to help me to find what that potential is, all the different capacities that it has for. I think the difficulty of keeping the two elements separate is actually a good challenge. And then, later, maybe we can combine them. But I think just having the discipline to have that awareness to separate them is so difficult. So I think, it's probably
a
valuable thing to have to try and do. So, but I want to see how that exercise can be used in different ways.
Okay, with the call and response, I thought it would be interesting to make it a quicker response time, because I felt myself kind of thinking, what should I do while the person who's doing their movement or sound? Maybe to try and just your first instinct, whether if they're done or not.
Give that timing element to it as well.
So it's not so much in your head, but the natural response, whatever it is. And then for the quality of motion, I thought that was a good one to kind of find, what you like to do, what's more comfortable for you, and then, use that as a way to push yourself to do the opposite of that. And I thought it would be interesting to switch quicker from the sustained to the percussive and go back and forth and kind of play with that. And then also do the sustained movement to percussive music.
I hadn't thought of that one. That's a good idea.
Trying to not, just follow the music what you hear. It's fun.
Okay, cool, thank you.
I feel like everybody's already said most of my thoughts.
How dare they?
Yeah, for the call and response thing, I agree. There was I found myself taking a lot of time to think about what my response was, and it reminded me a lot of we did with Jenna. We did these improv classes. I don't know, last summer and the summer before, where you would toss your sound to somebody, but you didn't know who was going to be tossing you a sound. So I felt like that kind of forced you not to be able to sit there and be like, okay, I know I'm going next. We were in a circle. And so you toss and you have to just respond right away and then toss to somebody else, which was really fun. But yeah, in the separating of the sound and movement, that was a challenge. It was a good challenge, a really good challenge. And when I was responding, I felt like a lot of times I found myself just wanting to sort of imitate what my partner did through the opposite. So if they called a movement, I wanted to imitate it in sound. But for the quality of motions, I really like those. And I think that the second time we were going across the floor, you said the word simple. And I think that's a really key word there. Really just, want to break it down to what is the most basic thing that you can think of, which is hard to do in a room full of dancers. And I found myself having a hard time traveling with it too. And I was I'm just walking here. Walking is very simple. And if I maybe I'll just keep with that and really try to figure out walking in staccato and just not think about anything else. But I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
With the call and response, I thought that was an excellent training tool for listening to your surroundings, particularly with a lot of performance art or structured improvs that you're, when a work has some kind of outside or unpredictable influences, I think that's a skill that needs to be trained. And so I think it's a good activity for that. It also promotes presence in moment, in each moment. I thought that generally today's activities and what we did last time are really great activities to strip the ego. And you think about theories on performativity or things like that. And that when I wrote that, it led me to another school of thought because I am an educator and have taught 3-year-old creative movement to college level students. And so in thinking about curriculum development, I was wondering, what age group are you developing this curriculum for? What is the feasible group that this is, and then what are the differences within each? High school is not going to be. What can you actually do with them that they could embody and be able to grapple without just losing it and losing the integrity of the exercise? So because since we are adults and professional performers, we're really receptive to things, and so it makes me think about what are the other little teaching tools that you have to get to these exercises with students that are younger or aren't open to the ideas or things like that.
And that's a very good point, and I feel incredibly fortunate to actually be initiating a lot of these with mature, seasoned performers who are body trained, because that's kind of the best that people to work with. And then from that it's okay, well, how would I adapt this for people who are different ages, who have not had training, who are different situations. So that's something that I'll think about know what's the process.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was interesting because performance art is such a thing that's you really only talk about once you get to this advanced level in college and school.
Absolutely.
And I've thought a lot about that too, of
And why is
censorship.
that?
Like why
Yeah.
can't we talk about that earlier?
Yeah.
But then how do you get students into a
Right.
state of mind that we can talk about and can experience it? It's a challenge. So.
Yeah, I think that's everyone, right? Okay, so I don't want to keep you any longer. I wish we could have more discussion. I think maybe